Welcome to Leigh Dickey TV. Hit subscribe to follow along with the fun. Now let's get on to today's video. John Cena and JBL should have main evented WrestleMania 21. I may be the only one that thinks so, but I tell you why. Next. Alright, so yes, I am of the mindset that John Cena and JBL, John Bradshaw, Layfield, should have main evented WrestleMania 21 in 2005 in Los Angeles. Now, you could make the argument that Batista Triple H at that year's WrestleMania was the proper main event. I'm not going to argue with it, but I do think that JBL versus John Cena should have been the main event. It was in the middle of the card that year. You also had the first Money in the Bank ladder match. Again, Triple H, John Cena, Randy Orton versus The Undertaker. And I just think that Cena versus JBL should have been the main event. Granted, the build and Batista's popularity at the time, white hot. Same thing with John Cena. The difference, Cena had far more, he was younger, therefore he had a longer, he had more years to be in that main event spot, whereas Batista's run in the main event, it was constant, but it was a shorter window, right? Now the build between Triple H and Batista, that was hot, you could feel it, right? It was just this palpitating build between Triple H and Batista leading into WrestleMania 21. And the crowd was hot for it, the fans were hot for it, but at the time Batista was in, I think, his mid-30s. I think he might have been 35 or 36 by the time he got to that main event spot in 2005. And Cena was, I think, in his late 20s. I think he might have been 27 or 28. And it's just, he had a longer run. And of course, company hitched their wagon, so to speak, to Cena after that. He's coming off he was still in that whole rapper Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick, right? And that's what brought him to the main event picture. He started rapping on his opponents, and it was funny, right? For 2004, 2005, it was just funny, right? He was a funny dude. He's got a sense of humor. And I think he's got 16 world titles or something like that. He's won the World Heavyweight and the WWE Championships countless times. I mean, he's you know who he is. He's this generation's Hulk Hogan. And, the fact that he wasn't the main event when he won his first world title from John Bradshaw Layfield in 2005, I think it should have been reversed. I'm not taking anything away from Triple H and Batista. That build was just as hot, if not hotter. I'm just saying that Batista's time in the spotlight was much shorter than Cena's has been, because he's been a consistent top guy for about 16 years. Batista had maybe a 5 to 7 year window, and then that was it. And of course, he's doing movies now. Guardians of the Galaxy. He was in one of the 007 movies, and Army of the Dead, I think, was his most recent one. So, what can I say? I mean, yes, Batista transitioned into a very successful actor, but as a wrestler, it was a short window. Yes, he was white hot at the time, and I suppose it was the right move to give him a world title run, and perhaps, I guess, because the World Heavyweight Championship at the time was on Raw. Raw being WWE's flagship weekly program. Okay, I can see why you'd put that in the main event. And with Cena and JBL being on SmackDown always being considered sort of the B show. Okay, fine, I can see that too. But given the longevity of both performers, I think that, even WWE saw back then that he was going to be something special. I think Jim Ross has said that when he signed Cena, he goes to Vince McMahon and says, hey, I just signed your WrestleMania main event in 5 years. I think it took about 4 or 5 years for him to reach the main event, but yes, it was a world title match, the WWE Championship. The thing is, it just wasn't the main event of the show. It was, and the main event to most people, most wrestling fans, it's the last match on the card. And unfortunately, Cena JBL was stuck in the middle of the card somewhere. Yes, it was a good match, and it was the proper move to give John Cena his first world title, right? But I don't know, given the longevity of both superstars' careers, Batista and Cena, I don't know whether putting Batista Triple H in the main event spot was the right call. Because again, Batista's main event run was about 5 to 7 years, whereas Cena has consistently been a top guy. Yes, he's a part-timer now because he's in movies and such for about 15, 16 years. So that's basically my main reason for thinking Cena JBL should have main evented WrestleMania 21. Like, yes, there was that little kerfuffle at the Royal Rumble in 2005 where Cena and Batista went over together, and unfortunately Vince McMahon blew out both of his quads, but you know, they managed to fix that and get over that hump, and then you get to WrestleMania 21, Triple H Batista in the main event, and then Cena JBL in the middle of the card. Granted, they were both great matches. It was a white-hot year for both superstars and for the company, I think. Because, again, you had the first Money in the Bank ladder match on that card. You had Orton versus The Undertaker. It was a stacked year that year. WrestleMania goes Hollywood. WrestleMania 21, still one of my favorite shows, to be honest with you. But there they are, my reasons as to why Cena and JBL should have been the main event to WrestleMania 2021, just basically given the length of both superstars' careers. Now, yes, if they both came back, they'd both still get large, happy crowd pops, right? Because they're both legends in their own right. Yes, Batista's run was shorter, but he still is very popular amongst the wrestling fan base, given that 5 to 7 year window. And of course, Cena is John Cena. He's this generation's Hulk Hogan, and he's been a top guy for about 15, 16 years. Like, you're never going to get another person that is that popular again, I don't think. I mean, like, Hogan will forever be popular, but you're never going to get another John Cena. The same way, you're never going to get another sort of Hogan in a sense, even though, like, I keep saying that Cena is this generation's Hulk Hogan, even though he's been a top guy for the past 15, 16 years. But there they are, my reasons as to why John Cena versus John Bradshaw Layfield should have main evented WrestleMania 21. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please do comment, like, share, and subscribe right here to Leigh Dickey TV and my wrestling podcast, Pinfall, a pro wrestling podcast. Links to all my podcasts, the Beats and Speaks podcast, Yo Nostalgia, and Pinfall, a pro wrestling podcast, are down in the description. Please do leave us a 5-star rating and review. Thank you very much. Thanks again for watching. I've been Leigh Dickey. This wraps up another video. Please do take care, and we will talk to you later. All right, Leigh Dickey signing off. Peace. Thanks for tuning in to Leigh Dickey TV. New episodes are available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe to follow along with the fun.